You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, greetings and salutations. This is everybody's favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies, and I am your excited to be here host, Kasey, and I'm trying to multitask and make sure that the live video is properly set up because Amanda's not here to lecture me and make sure that I have the privacy settings set right. So everything is set right. And now we are good to go. So, as I said, this is An Evening at the Movies, everybody's favorite show. Eating the stale popcorn, drinking the watered down sodas. All you guys all know the drill. You've been here almost 200 episodes with me, so it is what it is. But as I said, obviously, everybody's favorite co-host is not with us on this episode. She had a busy week this last week, so but she will be back soon. But I am joined by somebody who almost is on the same level as her. Not quite, but he's almost there. And he is the person who, if you listened to Bracket Bastards yesterday, I made the announcement that he formerly had the number 10 most listened to episode in our top 10 list, but he lost it to his former bastard, Jamie, who took over the spot with her episode on A League of Their Own. So, haha, no, just kidding. Let's be honest though, everybody loves this guy. His episodes are always pushing the boundaries to get into the top 10 anyway, so. But we are joined, as always, by everybody's favorite horror wackadoo. Welcome back, Chance.
Hi.
You and your high.
Yep. Oh wait,
You
I'm
like?
sorry. I thought that was a question.
Maybe it was. Would you like to
Two things.
remind? Aha! Would
I
you like to remind the audience who you are and where they can find you?
yes, I am the co-host of Maniacal Music Musings, or Musifications, or Musificator, depending on who it is that's reading the title card. You can find us on all the things. The what is it? Unapologetic, Untamed, and Uncensored U3 Collective Network on Facebook.
Wow, you got it right.
Fuck yeah, I
Jeremy's
did.
gonna be so proud of you.
And then on YouTube, you can find it as Maniacal Music Musings, and Spotify and all the other things. And
You got the one
you
right,
know,
and then you screwed up the name of the damn show because it's Maniacal Musical Musifications.
oh right, yeah, that one. I think I got yeah, but I like mine better though.
True. Either way you look at it, as long as the name's getting screwed up by somebody, that's what makes it the best because that's when your little leprechaun co-host tends to get a little bit red behind the ears and smoke starts billowing out of his ears and it's like, hey, you should have came up with an easy see an evening at the movies that just rolls right off your tongue. You don't have to worry about freaking and tripping people up with freaking weird ass freaking words.
But it's the cube, bro.
This
It's the fucking cube.
it is the cube. I mean, even the sip list, that shit just rolls right off your damn tongue.
I know, right? Well, y'all didn't make these rankings. I did not make up the name of this show. I think I might have. I don't remember. I don't think I did though. Jeremy will be more than happy to correct us next time.
I mean, technically, An Evening at the Movies wasn't even the first name that I came up with for this show. Inside information. Initially, the first name
Little.
of the show was gonna be Down in Front Cinema
I mean,
because you
yeah, down in
get to that
front.
halfway back in the theater, you all got screwing around in the front of the theater, and it's like, hey,
Yeah, man.
asshole.
Down in front. I remember that shit.
So, but now that I say it, I mean, An Evening at the Movies is what we are, and it's kind of branded on the inside of my freaking right arm. So
You're kind of stuck with it
that name ain't
now.
going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
So, all right. So we are here, obviously, to talk about a movie,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna shock the world, and make that might confuse people just a little bit because we are not here to talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This is true.
Believe it or not, Chansey likes other movies other than the TCM.
It's a fact. It's a fact. You know, they may have also seen the episode I was on with Frailty. So, I mean,
There's there's been a handful of episodes that you've been on the show that weren't necessarily. I don't remember them all
right?
because let's be honest, here
I mean,
here
yeah, you're.
in literally like 3 months, I'm gonna be turning 47, and I'm getting old. Not quite as old as Harvey, but I'm getting up there. I'm not far behind him. So,
Yeah, that's all right. Ain't
all
nothing
right.
wrong with
So
that.
I am going exactly. I am going to mute myself and hand the microphone over to Chance and let him introduce the movie that we're going to be discussing. And then when I come back, we'll do the little tidbits of information before we get into the discussion. So, Chance, the floor is yours.
Today, on an evening at the movies, two friends dive deep into the deepest of cuts and pull out a pulsating pustule of prominence released in the greatest decade of all time. It may not be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It may not be Psycho. It may be involved with a little thing where everybody knows your name. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we dive deep into the heart of a little iconic classic called Motel Hell.
I was so concerned that as soon as I started doing the scissoring, that was going to totally throw you off and you were going to fucking lose it.
I almost did. I'm not gonna lie. I think because of the fact that I just white knuckled it and went straight through because I didn't have this prepared. If I would have been reading something, I'd have been fucked. I'm like, oh shit, and then lost it. But I was like, I have to hold on. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's trying to get my attention. I don't know if I kick the dog on this one, but I got to keep going, and we're going because this was too good so far. Like the first part was epic, and then it just shit the bed, which is all right because I don't got to clean it up, and I'm okay with that today.
I I personally don't think it was a bad introduction at all. So,
Well,
there's
thank you.
nothing to have to clean up, and we'll just rip the bandit off and get going so that um, the rest of the audience can experience a moment where everybody knows your name. And if you've seen the movie, you may have caught that reference. but
Let's be
we're not.
honest. Nobody else other than me making you watch this has seen this movie, dude. Like, even how I came across this movie is so obscure and crazy. It, but yes, let's get on with the gritty details, and then I'll
I
regale you with
I
this tale.
I I vaguely remember. I believe even you recommended this to Amanda, and I still think she has not even watched it yet, which is probably another reason why you can add to the list of reasons why she's not here. But again, we're not judging. At the end of
No,
the day,
no.
like I said, we know she had a very long, trying week, and we send all of our good vibes and juju. So, with all that said, um, Hotel Hell or Motel Hell, Hotel is not high end. This is motel level shit. Motel Hell, released on October 18th at the beginning of the greatest decade of all time, 1980. It was directed by Kevin Connor, was released by United Artists, has
Yep.
had a $3 million budget. And would you, in your infinite wisdom, like to wager a guess as to how much money it made at the box office?
Dude, I would be surprised if it broke six or not six, seven figures. I would be highly surprised if it broke seven figures, which would be a
It
million. No fucking way. Oh my god. They really tricked some motherfuckers into that shit. God damn.
$6.3 million.
What in the fuck? I guess it makes sense because back then they didn't have anything better to do. So, I mean, let's go out and watch this crazy ass movie. That's awesome.
I mean, it considering it's October 1980, it actually turned a fairly decent sized profit for. Uh, I'm not even going to call this a B horror movie because I think calling this a B horror movie would be an insult to B horror movies.
It's the little B horror that could, all right?
I think I can. I think I can. I think. But with that said, um, since you kind of sort of misinterpreted the box office number, would you like to wager a guess as to what you think Rotten Tomatoes gave it?
26%.
You are not even fucking close.
What was it?
67%.
What? I guess this is much more of a cult classic than I gave it credit for, man. That's fucking That's fucking crazy, man. I don't get it. Is that like critic review or is that like fan review?
That's the critic review.
Wow. Well, okay. Now, if we're going on critic review, I know exactly why it got that high of a review. That's perfectly understandable at this point now.
Well, I mean, you kind of sort of hinted at it in your introduction,
Slightly.
and I'm
But there's an
planning
even
on
more surprise that's coming on. Yep, yep, yep.
true. But I am also planning on that being a part of the discussion here shortly when we get
Oh,
to
right
it as
on.
well.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely 67% Rotten Tomatoes. And if you have not seen this movie, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not trying to be insulting to the movie, but I would be willing to bet at least 95% of this audience has not seen this movie
Oh, for
because
sure.
I did not even know this movie existed until Chancey brought it up like 4 or 5 months ago when he was on one of our shows,
Yep. Yep.
and he had told Amanda she needed to watch it, and then yeah, flip flop fly. It's like, ooh, let's do an episode with not Texas Chainsaw. Oh, by the way, let's do Motel Hell. And it's like, okay, haven't seen it. I'll watch it.
It's not
Not gonna
Texas
lie,
Chainsaw Massacre. I mean,
it.
I didn't lie.
No, it's not technically. I mean, we'll get to that because we're fixing to jump right into the discussion here in just a second. But to finish off my statement about the 95% of you not seeing this movie, if you are interested in listening to this before you go and watch the movie, um, then feel free. I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire on the no, push pause and go watch the movie first because it's it's 80s horror, damn it.
I would
They're
recommend
not
watching
reinventing.
this before watching the movie for sure. It might even make the viewing experience a little better.
Yes, I will 100% agree with Mr. Chancy on that one. I wish I had an evening at the movies to watch before I watched this movie. And I watched it a couple of times since we scheduled this episode. And also, it took me a couple of times getting started to get far enough into the movie to get all the way through it.
Yep.
So, um, but yeah. So if you would like to check out the movie and watch it, you can find it. Um, Obviously, you can rent it online wherever you get your movie renting or buying preferences from. Um, it is also streaming for free on a couple apps named Tubi, Free V, Pluto, and FlixFling. Never heard of FlixFling before, but evidently
Neither have
it's a
I, but
free app. I watched it on Tubi, and unfortunately, all four of these apps, if you're going to watch it, about every 10 minutes in the movie, you get a freaking 2.5 minute long commercial break, which gets really annoying really fast because it's always right when something's about ready to happen, and all of a sudden, ads starting in 3, 2, 1, ads for 2.5, 3 minutes, and it's like, then you come back and it's like you got to get everything started back up plot wise again.
I mean, when you buy the collector's edition, you don't have to worry about that.
Technically, yes, you can go to your local Amazon website and order the collector's edition online. Probably not even have to pay a whole hell of a lot of money for it. I mean,
No, probably not. I think it's like $9. I think is what I saw last time I checked.
I mean, well,
I actually got lucky and found it. I think in like a $5 bin at a Walmart or something.
yeah, my Walmart does not sell this quality of freaking movie.
Normally mine wouldn't either. I don't know what happened, but I remember I found it somewhere and I was like, I must buy this. I don't care what I have to put back.
Oh, hey, they got it on Blu-ray too.
Yeah, for sure. I was lucky my Xbox decided to grant me the it was like, no, we will grant you the ability to watch your DVD for this.
Okay, so hell no,
How much is
Motel
the
Hell, Motel Hell Collector's Edition, 4K UHD and Blu-ray,
okay.
33.45.
Is that coming from Prime or a secondary seller?
That's straight off of Amazon.
Damn. Boy, I sure am glad I
So,
found mine in the $5 bin.
oh wait, it gets worse because, well, no, this one actually is a little bit better. If you get just the Motel Hell Blu-ray,
Yeah.
23.73 straight off of Amazon.
What? What?
Then I would like to know what the hell this freaking format is because there's another Motel Hell Blu-ray that Amazon has for 104.61.
What?
I no offense, Chance, but I'm not paying $104.61 for this movie.
No. No, because I'm pretty sure that even with the collector's edition that they're offering, I still have the same special features that it has on the copy I've got, and I'm good with what I got.
So I did switch it my search down to DVD instead of DVD/Blu-ray, and uh, the only DVD I'm seeing right now is a midnight movie double feature with Deranged and Motel Hell for $32.99.
Hmm, that's
So
crazy.
if you want to watch the movie, you might want to utilize the every 10-minute commercial break apps and watch it that way, unless you're independently wealthy and would like to shell out 30 something bucks for a 80s horror movie. I'm trying to save my adjectives for the description or for the review at the end
Yeah.
because okay, that's literally freaking weird. It says we have one freaking viewer right now, and I'm the only viewer. I don't even have my freaking Facebook even open right now. But anyway, so all
Yeah,
right,
that's all right.
discussion time.
Yes, yes.
So obviously, you've been here enough since we started the whole laid back informal discussion format. So you pretty much know what
Right.
the first question is going to be. What about, well, no, we're going to mix it up. We're going to go off the wall this time just to fuck with you.
Okay.
What what about this movie did you absolutely not enjoy?
Ivan's fucking fake beard. That literally every
Right?
time I see it, I'm like, I'm so glad you're gonna fucking die. I mean, for real, dude. It's so bad. You can see the fucking light gleaming off the tape and fucking just fuck this whole van full of retard punk rock hippies that all deserve just death. All of them die. Oh god. Yeah, that's what I
So
would say as
that
far as the
little like
movie goes.
hypnotic,
Yeah, yeah.
that little spinning little hypnotic strobe light thing didn't help the situation either.
I mean, oh yeah, no, I'm just talking about when they introduce the band when they're driving down the road. Just like some light from a street
Yeah.
light just shines right off that tape and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? Just make him look normal. Like I don't like don't fucking have him have it or something? I don't know. Did he only agree to do it if he could be anonymous under a terrible fake beard? Jesus.
Well, I mean, would you want your name attached to a movie like this?
Fuck yeah, dude, because you know why? It takes all types of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. That's exactly why I'd want to be a part of that motherfucker. Dude, those one-liners are great, dude. It's such a
There's
bad
not a
movie.
whole there's not a whole lot of great one line. There's enough great one-liners in them, but there's not an overwhelming amount. You're not literally.
Yeah,
It's not like a good Nightmare on Elm Street movie where you're going to get slapped in the face by a witty Freddyism every
right.
25 seconds.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's one of those things like the first time I ever saw it, I didn't even see the whole thing. I saw part of the end on that Joe Bob Briggs TNT Monster Saturday Night movie special thing that he always used to have back in the day.
I
And then
love that show.
one of my I did too. And then one of my closest friends, uh his first name's Porter. He had a copy of it, and I was like, dude, I really like, because I remember seeing the front of it. I was like, I think I've seen the part of this movie on this thing, and we watched it, and I was fucking sold. I was hooked from that point forward. I was like, all right, if I ever get the opportunity, I'm gonna find my own copy. I'm gonna buy it because this thing is so bad, it's good. And then like going through the behind the scenes and the commentary stuff, you actually learn so much more that this movie could have actually been a very good movie if the studio didn't do what studios always seem to fucking do. And we're like, no, you need to fucking stop this and go straight for this. Because it was supposed to be like a satirical horror comedy. And they're like, no, we want a scary movie.
Even
And
myself coming into this after hearing you say that, I'm telling you, it's basically this type of movie meets this type of movie, and okay, well, fuck it. We're gonna go down this road for this discussion anyway, so I may as well just rip the band-aid off. But even before I started watching this movie, you warned me that it's basically a combination of Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Psycho,
yep,
which in every way, shape, and form, lit- there aren't very many ways. I mean, if Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre got together, bumped uglies, and had a baby, it would be Motel Hell. I mean,
yep,
the weird. I mean, obviously you get the whole, and some of this stuff is blatantly obvious. You know, it's set at a motel with that's run by psychos.
Farmer Vincent
That
and his
also
sister Ida.
that and for quite a significant period of them being on screen together, you get this weird vibe about you where you don't know exactly what kind of relationship they have. And maybe that's the fact that you warned me ahead of time that it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Psycho, and the fact that there's always that weird, sick, twisted Norman Bates and his mother vibe
Right?
in that movie,
Yep.
where it's like you're almost waiting for Vincent and his
Ida.
sister Ida. I knew it started with an I. I just couldn't remember what the hell it was. To have like this weird plot twist where all of a sudden they just jump into each other's arms and start freaking going at it and cramming tongues down each other's throats and all that
That would
bullshit.
have been that would have been so controversial. It was controversial enough them having Rory Calhoun as Farmer Vincent, man. Like that was just as dude. That was almost as upsetting as Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees. Like people lost their fucking mind because it's like super ultra wholesome Western guy fucking dons a fucking pig's head and a chainsaw and fucking tries to hook up with somebody young enough to be his goddamn granddaughter.
Yeah, I mean, and therein is where you get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes from cannibalism, um, part of the butchering process they
Yep.
use chainsaws for, and
Yep.
you know, so obviously they're trying to put forth something along that line, and I think if the studio had kept their hands out of the freaking mud pie, then this could have been something a lot better than what it was.
Oh, it would have been great.
Because, and this is one of those things where, like, I know that it happened to like John Carpenter
Yeah.
when after he did the original Halloween, because Amanda and I have talked about this. He did not want to do Halloween 2 at all. He wanted to do Halloween 3, being Season of the Witch.
Right.
And basically the whole, I mean, he didn't even direct Halloween 2. That's how much he
Mm.
did not want to do it. He
Yep.
wrote it basically in a short period of time in basically a constant state of drunkenness. So, I mean, it's the whole idea of the studios, and nothing has changed even either in what 40 some years,
Nah, yeah, for
because
sure.
you still, especially nowadays with streaming and everything being so instantaneous and blah blah, and so much of it, the studio wants the monies. Like, make it rain every day, bitches.
Right.
Hence the reason why, actors and screenwriters went on strike for 100 and some odd freaking days this summer.
Right.
But I mean, other than what you said with the beard, obviously, the only
Yeah.
other thing I kind of sort of I struggle with at times was sometimes the acting kind of sort of seemed kind of wonky to me. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
for the most
I get
for
that
the most part
entirely.
for the most part, Rory wasn't that bad.
No, no, he did a good job. But when you look at it in hindsight, with the whole, it's supposed to be like a British
Mhm.
satirical horror comedy. It all starts to kind of make more sense. Like, oh yeah, okay, well, no wonder this terrible acting is so blatantly over the top awful.
Which was part of the reason I think why I was willing to swallow my pride a little bit on the whole. Okay, this acting is kind of yeah, but because then, like you said, yeah, you get the British satire feel, and you get that thought into your head, and it's like, okay, I can see they're trying to salvage this aspect of it, even though I don't think the studio wanted them to go that direction with it.
Right,
Which, screw United Artists, because at the end of the day, this actually could have been. I don't know if I'd put it necessarily on the same level of, Psycho or Texas Chainsaw Massacre per se, original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not that Matthew McConaughey bullshit that we talked about a few weeks ago. I said it, and I mean it, but
I think it would have been pretty close. I really think it would have been, if they would have left it alone as it was supposed to, as it was intended. I really think that it would have been.
I
It
think
would
it
have
could
been
have been a.
so. Go ahead.
I don't think it would have been a B movie. I think it could have been a solid B plus movie.
For sure, absolutely. Like it could have. It could have. It
Maybe
even. I honestly
maybe
think
A minus.
It could even rival like the culthood of Rocky Horror if it would have been done as it should have been done.
Well, I mean, there is obviously some kind of cult following to it. If
If
you
it's
know,
got that kind of a rating, yeah, for sure.
and yeah, granted, that is the critic score, but you know what? While you talk, I'm going to pull up Rotten Tomatoes and see what the fan vote is,
I
just
mean,
because
honestly, I always thought, for me, the fake beard, the bad acting, all that stuff really did get to me as well until I learned all that extra, which is usually kind of how it is for the most part. Especially if you come to find out, oh hey, the studio really kicked the dog when it came to doing this, that, and the other with this whole idea that I had for this movie. Blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah blah. But like, I don't know if many people picked up on it, but you had you had Farmer Vincent, his sister Ida, and then his little brother was the sheriff. So I mean that was where my biggest compilation through like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came through, was how everybody
Yeah,
was all interconnected like that.
yeah. Well, it literally is a psychotic family out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And by the way, the the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is lower than the critics' score.
By how
Not by
much?
much though.
I was gonna say because I mean, I put it at like 25, 26%. So
It's still way higher than yours. So
hey, man, I'm cool with that. That just means more people liked it than I thought they would.
52%.
That ain't bad. That
But
ain't bad at all.
I also attribute that to the fact that I think there's a lot more people out there that are kind of sort of like yourself and Amanda and even myself, where we grew up watching the Joe Bob Briggs, you know, Saturday night drive-in cinema, whatever it was called on
Right?
TNT or TBS or whatever the hell channel it was.
TNT, USA. I remember all of those old crappy cable. USA's Up All Night and TBS, and or not TBS. It was TNT that always had the good stuff late night. And I remember, dude. I remember AMC when they had unedited, uncensored
Mhm.
movies, and I was like, dude, I love this channel.
A- After like 10 o'clock at night, though, because you don't want to piss off the FCC.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's true.
Now that shit just freaking runs blatantly all over freaking TV like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
I remember being a kid when you were lucky if you heard the word damn on ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox. That was like a
Yeah.
woo.
Oh no.
Now, oh, you can see naked butts on those channels. You can see damn near you get an occasional F bomb dropped from time to time.
Well, that's cool.
I know channels like
I've always been about that life.
well, I know like FX and TBS and TNT now are getting a
Yeah.
lot more lax with their
Yeah.
what they will and won't show. I mean, I've seen the whole entire damn run of Sons of Anarchy and The Shield, and those shows pretty much did and said whatever the hell they wanted to for 7 seasons apiece anyway. So,
Right.
but all right, so we got the bad out of the way. So, what did you absolutely love about this movie?
The Easter eggs, man. The stuff that you wouldn't know unless you like either knew to look for it or if you just kind of found it out. Like Rory Calhoun, because when he took the role, he had, you know, everybody knew him for all of the stuff he did when he was younger.
Mhm.
I didn't even know who he was until, one of the times I was watching it and when I was younger, and my mom was like, what are you watching? Why is Rory Calhoun on this movie? I was like, I don't, who's Rory Calhoun? So she told me. And I'm like, oh. And
Well,
then
no,
I
because
always
even like the first time I watched the movie after we had set the recording for it, like I wasn't even I was like two, three people into the damn credits, and I'm texting you, and I'm like, why does Rory Calhoun sound familiar? I knew I had heard the name before. I'm not a huge Western fan, and that's where a lot of his
Yep.
prior history comes from. But you, I did after you said why. I'm like, okay, so Google, and then pulled up his Wikipedia and started scrolling through his filmography, and it's like, okay, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen. There's a couple of those things I had seen. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, now I know. Now I know why I know who Rory Calhoun is.
And people
The only
lost
other
their
name on that list,
mind.
the only other name I recognized though was John Ratzenberger.
Yep. And also Wolfman Jack.
Oh
I
yes,
always loved
I
that.
well and yeah, because Wolfman Jack. The first time I ever, because I live on the West Coast, and
Yeah.
when I was a kid and he was doing his thing back then, you kind of everything was kind of sort of regionalized to where they were based out of. So we didn't get a whole lot of his stuff on the radio here.
Right. Yeah.
So my introduction to him was, I think he had an appearance on Married with Children.
Okay, yeah. I remember that was towards the end he was doing a lot of like TV and movie yeah, stuff like that for sure.
But yeah, I mean, even I remember seeing the name pop up for that one too, and I'm like, okay,
Okay. All
weird
right.
bearded shock jock radio DJ. What in the middle of a movie set out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of country bumpkin rednecks? I'm like, how the hell is this gonna freaking work?
And he plays the
Then
preacher
you
even.
finally, yeah, very. I'm not even. I'm gonna try and pronounce it, but it's probably gonna come out wrong. But evangelical
Yeah,
preacher.
evangelical. Yep. Yep.
So most of the time throughout the movie, the only time you're even getting anything from him is him being on TV about the fire and the brimstone and the send your money to blah 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 blah, and all the
Yeah.
stuff that comes along with that type of religion. And I mean, he is technically the preacher man who Rory Calhoun and um, the one,
I think it was like Tammy or Terry, I think was her name.
yeah, something like that, that they end up going to when dude tries to marry somebody young enough to be his fucking granddaughter.
For sure.
Creepy ass pervert psycho. But yeah,
And then you got
it's I
the
mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, then you got the chainsaw fight scene there, like everything. Like just the way it's all structured too. Like they keep her like a pet, which is very TCM like, and then she becomes part of the
Mhm.
family, which is not something you ever really see in any of those movies. And then they want to keep her separated, so they when they drugged her champagne. I don't know, it's just me, but like if I'm looking around and everybody else has got brown in their glass and my shit's green, I'm not gonna drink it. I'm gonna be like, you first,
I'll
asshole.
pass.
Well, and also champagne's garbage anyway, but like
Ooh,
that's
I'm
just
glad
me.
Amanda's not here to hear you say that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if she likes it, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, that's her preference. It's whatever. But just it's champagne is hot. It's fucking. It's fizzle. It's fucking bubbly garbage. Fucking. It's a headache in a bottle. Fucking. You get more out of letting the cork
Yeah.
slap you upside the head than you would drinking it anyway.
The preceding message was endorsed by Chancy Greif for president 2024.
That's Greif
And I know
Laguerre.
you,
Greif Laguerre for president.
yes.
2024.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, how can you not get behind the amazing wonderment that would be a White House ran by Chancy Greif and Harvey Laguerre?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
I think it'd go
I
pretty
have
wonky pretty
reasons.
quick.
I have personal reasons why I would love to see that happen. We're not going to discuss it on air though,
Fair.
and I think you will appreciate that.
Fair enough.
And
The Go ahead.
you balance out and then you balance out all of that with the down to earth niceness that is Harvey Laguerre.
right? The human saint, the literal saint, Saint Harvey. I'm telling you,
Yes. Again,
that's a ticket. That's a ticket I
you
could write
got
my
you
name
got.
on.
You know what? In November next year, I may actually write that down on my freaking as a write-in ballot. You guys will. You guys will get one at least get one vote. You know what? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like an evening at the movies or the I did not make these rankings podcast network or M cubed have enough fan support to make a difference. But
But all their
you know, at
friends
the end of
have
the day, how
friends,
and
and their friends have friends.
that that would be the screwed up part of it.
Dude,
Could
I
you
would absolutely
envision?
shit my pants.
Could you, I would laugh my ass off if like we started a write-in campaign thing, vote for Chancey, vote for Harvey, and you know our listeners turn into branch out to their friends, branch out to their friends, and then all of a sudden you guys are getting a freaking phone call from the federal government. We need you guys to jump on a plane and be in D.C. on January 20th to take a oath of office and be sworn in as the next president and vice president of the United States of America.
And the best part about it is no shit legit. The first thing out of my mouth is be like, the fuck? Or
Right?
if I'm going to quote Arlie Ermery, I would say, in the words of the Virgin Mary, come again?
Oh, I've
But
seen
no,
enough
for
freaking
real
news.
though,
I've seen enough news to know though that the amount of votes it would take for that to happen, I'm not so sure that you
astronomical.
could branch out, yeah, that's an awful lot of freaking branching out that would need to happen, and
I would be
stealing
more
votes
worried about
from
the phone call. I was gonna say I'd be more worried about the phone call that I would get after the voting tally took place, and then the government goes, "We would like to know why you and a one Harvey Laguerre were able to get 27.62% of the vote without having submitted any formal paperwork." Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. People think we're funny. People think I'm funny and I do stupid shit. I don't know what you want from me, man.
So let's just put it. I mean, you have the um, wonderment that is the Harvey and um, Chancy presidential, vice presidential ticket. So I'm going to spend the next year of my life trying to push this to see if we cannot at least get you guys 1% of the votes in this country.
That'd be funny.
I want to
That'd
see
be
your
great.
guys on election night next November when they freaking pop up with the damn vote totals that scroll across the bottom of the screen. I want to see it say Chancey Greif and Harvey Laguerre 1%. You guys turn on freaking TV and see that and freaking have a damn heart attack. You know it.
I'd just be staring at the screen and be like, huh, ain't that something? Somebody else with the same last names as me and Harvey got 1% of the vote. Ain't that some shit?
Oh man.
Although, back on Motel Hell, since we're gonna be telling
Yes,
secrets,
because
my absolute favorite
we're going
thing
way.
is the secret at the
I just
end. That
the one where you literally think he's gonna make like this big astronomical freaking revelation as he's dying, and
right?
then
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you I put preservatives in the meat.
I use
Yeah,
preservatives.
seriously.
Fucking, we're like, what? What?
I mean, I'm sitting here watching the movie, and it gets to that part for the first time I see it, and I'm like, what in the hell is he going to freaking reveal? I'm like, because it doesn't feel like there's anything really big to reveal, but then it's like he's talking like there's some big reveal coming, so it's got to be something. And then it was just, I use preservatives, and it's like,
Uh, aha!
seriously,
I got you.
ah, you little old
Oh.
fogey chimo looking motherfucker, rat bastard.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny stuff. And then like the fact that he looks like he couldn't even hold that chainsaw over his head anyway. Like, what is that feeble old man doing with that goddamn chainsaw? I mean, for real, you can clearly tell like he doubles in size whenever they're doing the chainsaw scene because of the stunt double. It's like, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but it looks like Farmer Vincent. He's started himself up a new cycle. He got hooked on them roids,
Right before he knew the final fight was going to start, he
right?
got down and did some
Fucking
push-ups,
super shredder. Oh,
because he knew he was going to have to do some push-ups and get swole. So he's just sitting there
right.
getting his pump on.
Meats,
And let's be
meats.
honest,
Man's gotta eat.
that is a big ass freaking pig's head that he wore too on top of it.
Fucking huge, right? The
I don't think
biggest
I've
fucking
ever seen
pig
a pig's
head.
head that freaking big. I've seen some
And
big
that's
ass freaking
actually
pigs.
that was the part that I saw on the Joe Bob Briggs show. Was the part where he comes out with that big ass fucking pig head on, and it's like, what the fuck? I've never seen such a thing in my entire life.
Yeah.
It was on it, dude. I'm telling
Well,
you,
and
it's
then it's all been spoofed on by movies like freaking Saw and shit that have gone out and done it now.
yeah.
And it's like,
I
yeah.
tell everybody it's the best worst thing ever. It really is.
Well, okay. So I think for the most part, we've covered a lot of the greatness and epic failures of the movie. So, um, you want to go ahead and share your review and your rating with the listeners?
I honestly could not recommend this more to anyone. Like, regardless of whether or not you like, bad horror films or not, just if by having watched this show you're curious to see what the fuss is about with all this monstrous acting and boisterous over the top nonsense, knowing what you know now about how it's not supposed to be like it's really portrayed and there's a purpose behind its portrayal, you really could get a lot more out of it and it would be really good for you to go for. Having said that, I'm still only going to give it like a 3.5 stars because I mean, it's a 1980s just preamble to the slasher. It was like it came out 5 years too early, kind of thing. If it would have came out like 85 or any time when the slasher films just took back off and went into the stratosphere, that thing would have been fucking amazing. And they would have been able to keep it more so true to what they were going after.
Well, because here's the part you got to remember too. This movie came out in October of 1980.
80, yep.
So you're looking at the fact that pretty much the only real true slashers that you had at this point were the OG Texas Chainsaw, the
Yep.
OG Halloween,
Yep.
and
The Last House on the Left, which doesn't qualify necessarily as a slasher film, but
no, but and I think I would only technically go for having those to work with as being it because Friday the 13th, the OG, actually came out around the same time as well. So they're both being made off of the merits of Halloween and Texas
Yep,
Chainsaw. So
that's true.
there really isn't a whole lot of a slasher genre that's really out there
Yeah,
where, like you said, if you gave it another 5 or 6 years, you would have had a little bit more from Halloween. You would have had a little bit more from Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street would have been out in the world. You would have
right,
had Dennis Hopper in Texas Chainsaw and the Chili Cook Off
right.
and all of that. So the slasher genre of horror would have been a little bit more established by this point. So
And with
there's
a
that.
name like and with a name like Motel Hell, that could have all but made back the just made back the budget on its own with the name alone. Just no nothing, no meat, no bones, just name out there on its own. At that time, people would pay it. Shut up and take my money. Motel Hell, I'm down. I don't know what's happening, dude. How about the fucking Sonny Bono egg, fucking Easter egg? The fucking weird guy with his girlfriend that show up there because it's on one of those pamphlets.
You mean the weird sexual deviance?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a knockoff of Sonny Bono.
Well, I mean, wasn't he like mayor of Palm Springs at that time or something like that?
Um, I don't know if he was still in politics or not, but I know that he was doing that for a while. Yeah.
Well, and this is post divorce from Cher, and
Yep. Yep.
I mean, if you have that kind of deviance and end up getting divorced from Cher,
Well, I mean,
then
it's not really
you're
Sonny Bono.
definitely
It's
kind of
supposed to be a knock. Dude, if Sonny Bono would have
no.
actually been in this movie, I'd have been screaming it from the fucking rooftops, dude. I've been like, y'all need to watch this crazy motherfucking movie. It's got Sonny Bono, and he hits it harder than that motherfucking tree.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you actually look at the guy who played the character, it's almost an identical freaking twin to Sonny Bono.
Right?
The girl, not so
Somewhere,
much a twin of Cher,
somewhere in
but
between Sonny Bono and Gallagher.
yes, very much so. I mean, the, the chick is kind of sort of more of a softcore, like
Yeah, she's supposed to be just
dominatrix type.
nondescript. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, even like when she, tosses the whip around his neck to pull him in gently, it's like, no, no. If you were trying to be a dominatrix, you'd freaking just wow, whip that shit right around his freaking, not just, eh, eh,
Casey's getting all
come
technical
to
on
me.
the domination etiquette there. All right, I
I've,
see you,
I've,
Casey. I see
I've
you,
done,
Casey.
I,
Uh-huh.
I've done research.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yes, yes, yes. Scientific purposes only, sir. Scientific purposes only.
Hey, we're not going down that road,
You don't want to go down that
but
route. A
um,
lot of history down that route.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have a little bit of color and controversy. Controversy makes cash. So, but no,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good at
I'll
controversy.
not like your co-host on M Cube. Uh-huh. So
I
I
will
will
gladly
pretty,
secede that point.
yeah, you will. But yeah, definitely, I can agree with everything that Chancy said. Um,
Nice.
it's very much. I mean, this movie definitely fits into that genre of horror that I grew up watching and loving. Not that I didn't. I mean, I love the mainstream cookie cutter Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, blah 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 blah, Jaws, Exorcist, all that mainstream crap that everybody knows. But it's the movies like Motel Hell, Chopping Mall, freaking
Chopping.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Sleepaway Camp that it's like I remember going into like the movie or like the video store on like a Friday night and getting to pick out like one or two movies to rent. And you walk through and you see like the horror section, and it's like you see these boxes for like Sleepaway Camp or Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, or Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Chopping Mall, or Motel Hell, probably even. I don't remember seeing the case for that one, but I digress. But it's like they reel you in, and then you finally get to find a way to get to watch them, thanks to TNT and TBS and USA and all of those. They had their late night movie things, but
That was how TCM2 got me initially, because the front cover art is them one for one shotting the Breakfast Club. I know we talked about that on that episode, but that was what got my attention, was the
oh
fact that
yeah,
they were doing the Breakfast Club pose. I was like, dude, all right, I'll check this thing out. And it's like, what the fuck did I buy?
well, and at the end of the day, too, on top of it, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is very, very gritty and creepy, and we talked about this before on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode. So, if you want to hear
Yes.
more of our thoughts on that, I highly recommend going
Look
back
at
to
that one.
about 13 months in time and
Yeah, roughly.
checking that episode out. That was a hilariously fun episode. But I will digress though when it comes to my rating. Um, as much as I appreciate the fact that Chancey recommended this movie and basically introduced it to me as a 46-year-old old fart who had never seen it before, I have seen it now and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great movie, and thank you, sir, for recommending it. But at the same time, I sit here and I look at some of the other movies that we've gone through and we've given 4.2 or a 4.25 or a 4.5, and it's like I can't justify giving Motel Hell that high of a rating. Not that it's not something. I mean, I'll gladly go and watch it again, and I'm going to keep recommending that Amanda needs to watch it. And you know what? I think Amanda needs to do it and do a drunk watch of it
Oh,
because
that'd be
that's going to make it
hilarious.
even that. Because when she does that, she also records like the little TikTok clips. You've seen like the
Oh
ones with
yeah.
Rubber, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
yeah. So I think we need to recommend that she watches the Motel Hell, but she has to have 4 or 5 glasses of wine in her first.
Yep. That'd be
Just
funny.
just
That'd be
an
fucking
idea.
hilarious. Dude,
So
even if she hosted like a stream yard fucking watch party for, I would put myself on mute just to see what she, just to get her reaction in real time. It's so fucked up. What is fucking happening here?
well,
I can just hear it now.
well, I mean, there is a way of actually doing a screen share thing because I'm don't know how quote unquote kosher it is, so I'm not going to name names, but I have.
Oh, it wouldn't. We wouldn't even have to watch it with her. Just we've already seen it, so we'll know when she gets to the certain parts. Like, oh, that shit. Yep, she found that part.
Mhm. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3.25 for me.
Yeah, I mean that's solid, dude. That's a solid score.
That's, if you look at it from the perspective of A, B, C, D, and the F, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.25 is like a C minus as
Right?
far as grades go. C's
Yeah.
get degrees too. So, you know,
Yeah, they do. That's true.
so with all that said, definitely if you love 80s horror movies, bad 80s horror movies, you definitely need to go find a copy of this movie, or you need to go check it out on one of the every 10-minute commercial break apps, because you'll love if you love bad 80s horror, you will love this movie. So I know how much Amanda loves movies like Chopping Mall and Sleepaway Camp and all the other stuff that we've talked about before.
She'll love it.
So I, she will love it. It's just a matter of getting her to actually sit down, pour a glass of wine, or let's be honest, just take the damn cork out and just drink it straight out of the damn bottle. We're not
It'll
judging.
get. I mean, no, it'll get to that point just because she'll have to get there for it. Like Jesus Christ, get to the fucking point.
Yeah. So, um, I think that's going to just about do it for the episode. But as always,
Word.
I want to thank the dozens for being here each and every week. You guys are fucking amazing. You guys, our numbers are growing on listenership not exponentially, but compared to the rate that they've been going up like earlier in the year, we're starting to see bigger jumps in numbers the last
Nice.
month or so. So definitely, I know everybody has worked hard for this show, and all of us support each other's shows. And Jeremy and Chancy have done their share of helping, you know, publicize the show. The network does their fair share as well. So it's all one big team here working together. So we appreciate everything that everybody has done for the show. Um, with all that said, do you want to remind the listeners of where they can find you and what you got coming up on that show that I shall not name because I don't want to piss off your host?
Well, again, co-host of Maniacal Music Musings, where myself, the co-host, and our guest each pick an album, do a top five, do a review, and then we also like to throw in little bracket shows every now and then, much like the Rolling Stones Top 500 that we're currently going to take the next 2 years to work on. But yeah, I mean, you can get it anywhere you get your podcast stuff. You got YouTube, Maniacal Music Musings. Facebook group is the Uncensored, Untamed, and Unapologetic. U3 twice in one episode, huh? How
Twice.
about it? Oh yeah.
Wow. I am impressed.
You can find us on Good Pods. You can find us on Spotify. You can find almost all of it anywhere. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Like it's Juggalo Bastard is what he's called on the X. Let's see. I am Red Eye Roundtable on Instagram and TikTok, and on X I am Red Eye Table. And if you can find me on Facebook with my first name, good luck. It's like the world's worst scavenger hunt because you win
It really
nothing.
is. I
But
had
yeah,
to do it the
I think
hard way
that's.
and all of that. All right. So, what do we have coming up on an evening at the movies? Buckle in, people, because believe it or not, we actually have a ton of stuff coming up in the next few weeks. So, with all of that said, um, this episode will be available on the YouTube and wherever you get your podcast listening fix on November 22nd, the day before Thanksgiving. The week after, we may or may not have an episode for you, but I'm hoping, knock on wood, that we will have the Galaxy Quest episode ready to go for you by then. Then, coming up in December, we've got Pain Hustlers with a brand new guest on the show. We've got Christmas Vacation coming up with um, Today We Laughed and Learned podcast, another new guest. We've got new guests coming out of the woodworks on the show right now. December 20th, we have Harry Potter 5 with Chris and Jen. Christmas Day, we have Violent Night with Kevin and possibly Amanda, and Jingle All the Way with Joshua from Season to Season, and possibly a third episode. Not sure what day it's going to drop yet, but It's a Wonderful Life with another new guest. And then in January, we've got The Mummy, 1999, Fifth Element coming up on the 10th, Where the Heart Is with Ashley from, oh, what the hell was the name of the damn show? 30 Flirty and Not Thriving. I'm like, I fucking know it. So lots of stuff coming up, and definitely you can stay updated as to the ever evolving wheel of schedule changes that probably will and won't pop up over the next couple months. But um, if you've been here for the last almost 3 years, you know, too, coming up February 10th, we will be having our third anniversary. Not sure if it'll be a live episode or if it'll be pre-recorded, but we will be doing something. Not sure what, but we'll be doing something for the anniversary. And shortly thereafter, we will be celebrating our 200th episode as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. Lots of stuff coming up. And again, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, um, Twitter, X, TikTok, Threads. All you got to do is look for the name of the show, and we're pretty easy to find. So check us out. Show some support. Definitely check out Maniacal Music Musifications every week. I believe they're. What day do your guys' episodes drop?
The lives go up usually on Tuesdays, and then the releases come out on Fridays.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to double check and make sure before I screwed it up and totally threw a monkey wrench in the program. So
Yeah.
watch and listen live on Friday or on Tuesdays, and then check out the audio wherever you get your podcast listening fix on Fridays. So thank you to the listeners again, and thank you to Chancy for being here. If we do not record again before the end of the year, happy holidays, happy new year. And dare I say, it may be time to Jessica Biel An Evening at the Movies.
Back to the reboots.
So definitely stay tuned for that as well, because I actually do have 2 weeks in January that I need episodes for, so we might just have to plug in back to the reboots for one of those 2 episodes.
Fair enough.
All right, so but yeah, definitely thank you to listeners. Thank you to Chancey for being here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we, at the end of the day, we hope you guys all come back for An Evening at the Movies. Have a good week, guys.